decided to
switch what we do with our channel.
Yeah, so we decided that we want to like focus our energy into educating people on the life issues because that's really important to us. And so from now on, we're going to be having a lot of fun diving into these life issues and working through them.
Basically started, we were getting into like a not heated, but like a good discussion of our different views on things, and we decided we actually wanted to do something about it because we'd been talking about it, how we wanted to get more involved with it because it's something we both believe in, and we were like, just switch over the YouTube channel.
All right, well, we're gonna have fun though, right?
So much fun.
So much fun. Okay, so most of you are aware that the RHA bill, Reproductive Health Act, was passed recently.
In New York State.
It was passed in the name of women's rights, but really we know that all it's doing is killing more baby girls. Actually, I don't have the exact statistic with me right now, but more baby girls are aborted than boys.
Which is so, like, breaks down their logic because it doesn't make sense because they're talking about women's rights. But then they go and, like, and they're aborting children, and they will abort, you know, boys too, but they're aborting more girls. So how does that make sense when you're taking the life of, well, a girl who would grow up to be a woman?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
So the first thing, Reproductive Health Act has a lot of sides to it. So one thing it's done is it established abortion as a fundamental right in New York. So now it is a right to get an abortion. Isn't that fantastic? It's a right to kill someone else.
When they passed the bill, there was actually a lot of like outrage, especially on Instagram. But they don't say that in like the social media or the, you know, just media in general part of it. It was just so many people were just incredibly sickened by it because they're just cheering as they're signing this bill about how, you know, we're extending the rights on how to kill children.
Yeah, this is New York State Right to Life Committee said this on this part of it. If abortion is elevated to a fundamental right, emanating from such right would be restrictions on communications deemed to impede a woman's decision-making about abortion, mandating participation by providers that object, and further restrictions on pro-life efforts to save children's lives. So people, more doctors and whatnot, would be forced to do abortions when they don't want to, like, even if they have moral objections to doing them. The next thing that RHA did is it authorized abortions up until the moment of birth.
Which is honestly just, like, it's absolutely sickening.
It is sickening. So a couple minutes before birth, you could just kill the baby. This, to me, doesn't make any sense because it's hard to verbalize it because you just know it's so
morally wrong.
Yeah.
And even after the baby is born, it's because if they try an abortion and it fails and the baby is born. That's in this bill, right?
That's in this bill. Another thing RHA does is it removes the protection of the babies that come from failed abortions. So if an abortion is tried and failed and the baby is born, then there is no protection for that baby.
They can do what they want with it and killing it.
Yeah, so they can kill the baby. The baby is out of the mother at this point, and they can just do whatever they want with that baby because there's no protection for it. Also, RHA allows any healthcare practitioner to perform an abortion. So you don't have to go to an abortionist or Planned Parenthood like anyone with that's like technically healthcare practitioner can perform an abortion. RHA removes protections for women and unborn children from illegal abortions. So basically, if someone
pushed a woman down the stairs and it killed the baby, there would be no consequences for for the person who pushed the woman down the stairs.
So like
There's no legal consequences for what they did.
for that baby's life. Like the mother could want the baby, and like see, it goes against women's rights again, because if a woman wants the baby, like really looking forward to having this baby, and if someone's like, you know, whether it's like angry boyfriend or whatever, pushes her down the stairs on purpose so that the baby dies, he might be like cause for like, you know, pushing a woman, but there is no repercussions for him for killing her child. And that's just really crazy to me. It also repeals protective medical standards for mother and child. So the law requiring certain abortions to take place in hospitals on an inpatient basis is repealed. Also, the law requiring a second physician after 20 weeks to attend any infant born alive to provide medical care would be repealed. So, yeah, like we're saying, the abortion could really take place anywhere. So, like, unsanitary places. Another thing that's harmful for women, like, there's really no limit to where it could take place. Like I said before, there's no medical care required for any infant born alive. So they could just leave that infant there to die, and they wouldn't be punished. And as you can see, this really opens some people's eyes to the fact that the people in charge of making this, like, it's like psycho. Insanity. Killing your own kind.
There were just people commenting how disgusted they were and how wicked these people were. Just how can you strip the rights from like an innocent child who can't like defend themselves?
It's crazy. It's really mind-boggling.
For people who were once children themselves, making these laws to kill children, it's not even logical. Comparing it to the Holocaust, you see a lot of comparisons with that in the pro-life movement. 60 million babies aborted versus 6 million dead in the Holocaust. And an interesting comparison to make there is that in the Holocaust, the Jews, Gypsies, and all of them were tortured and killed and murdered. And a big part of it was in the concentration camps. The children would be killed immediately, or just executed by guns. And it's just insane to me how people looking at the Holocaust called it mass murder, how it was absolutely horrible, how the Germans murdered these children. There would be newborn babies, they would just kill them. But somehow with abortion, when they're still killing children, it's somehow okay. And it doesn't make sense.
That's because, Hitler, he was like direct out with it. Like
he was very manipulative.
He moved on with his plan very quickly, and he just kind of said like what he wanted to do, like right away. So it kind of came very suddenly. But with this, like this is over years of people slowly bringing more stuff in, like. Okay, like, we're only going to keep it up to, only abortions up to, like, 6 months. Now, like, a couple years later.
Now right up to birth.
Like, people push it in. People use words that make it sound nice. Oh, like, reproductive health. It's for the women's health. And, like, they're very manipulative. And it takes a lot of time. So people don't really see like what's approaching until it's already upon us.
People have just been manipulated into believing that this is a good thing and it's for like women's rights, but it's actually like stripping the women's rights because they're lying to them, telling them that this is a good thing and for women's rights.
So that is the Reproductive Health Act. Very crazy stuff.